Good morning. It's Bobby Dupree with the Bobby Dupree Show, presented to you each Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And of course, many of you are watching it on cable TVs somewheres in Acadiana. About 9 parishes are covered by the cable. Others of you are listening to it on KSLO like you have for the past 35 years, and 105.3 sister company to KSLO, the Delta Media firm out of Carencro. And we also have a growing number of people watching it on the internet. And you might explain a little bit how to get to it.
Yeah, you can go to kdcg.com and you can click on live streaming to watch whatever's going on at that moment on KDCG, whether it's the Bobby Dupree Show or Swamp and Roll or any of the other shows. But if you want to see any of our shows even after they've appeared, we keep about 6 weeks worth of shows in the archives. Just click on Bobby Dupree Show and you better see the dates for the last so many shows, all driven over the internet, nice and easy and streaming for you to watch, and photo galleries of all our shows going back the last, I guess, 5 or 6 years worth of photographs.
And I spoke to Steve, one of the technicians here, and he says that he gets the shows into the archive section we tape them on Wednesdays, probably by 10, 11 o'clock on Thursday morning, right after the first program shows at 7. It's then, and the actual pictures will probably be on the Wednesday afternoon, early Thursday morning. So it's all done pretty quickly. And we want to thank Steve and Mark, and of course our leader over here, Mr. Matt LeBlanc.
Correct.
He's out this morning doing
filming commercials.
Filming commercials.
Paying the bills.
He's over in Lafayette this morning and helps pay the bills. And we want to thank our sponsors, by the way. And let's talk about a couple of our sponsors right off the bat.
I
you
can
always
sure do
fuss
that.
at me,
How about,
but I rush you.
How about Carl's Thrifty Way? We'll start right with your medicinal needs. If you need to get those prescriptions filled, Carl's Thrifty Way can help you out. Whether it's prescription medications, you can get generics for you to help you save some of your money. If you've got to compound multiple ones together, you know, some of those people that got those tackle boxes, I always, you know, tease my friends, they got a tackle box because they got to take this pill and that pill and this vitamin and that one. Carl's Thrifty Way, they'll help compound multiple medications together, make it easier for you to take, so you don't have to fight with all that type of contraption. They've also got over-the-counter medication. They've got gifts and home decorating ideas and gift wrapping and monogramming. One more. Dixie Storage, all your storage needs. Whatever you want to put aside, put in that warehouse, whether it's maybe some of the furniture while you're redoing the house, maybe it's just some of the stuff with your business, maybe
college students in for the summer.
That's right, put their stuff. You can relate to that when those college kids switch leases, you got to put that furniture somewhere between the 2 semesters. Good thing to have is the storage unit, and you keep the storage unit all year. You can put other things in there, from Christmas decorations, stuff with your business. Maybe it's parts for your business as well. They've also got a sister company, A+ Glass, with locations in Lafayette and Opelousas that can handle all your glass needs. That's commercial, home, auto. They do auto inspections as well. That's down from the little bitty subcompact foreign little car, little bitty American car, all the way up to the great big 18-wheelers.
On the death side, you've been fussing at me lately. I've been kind of laxed on getting our death notices that I plan on talking about. And of course, Miss Betty Ford, former President Ford's wife, died recently at age 93.
Yes, sir.
I think some of the services began yesterday. They're going to do, I guess, a memorial over in California, where
I think that's where they were living.
And then she's actually, her burial will be in Michigan.
Michigan, that's where they're originally from. You know, he played for University of Michigan. Gerald Ford was actually a star college center. I think he played center.
And tell them a little bit about how she might live on to have one of the longest name recognition, I guess would be a way to describe
the two big
her
things.
Services that she's offered, and she stood up for, I guess you could say, for women's rights, but not to vote or anything. Women's rights to take care of their own health conditions.
One thing was cancer, of course, that, you know, in the days before she came along, breast cancer was a very taboo subject. Women didn't talk about it. They were ashamed if they had breast cancer, if they had to have a mastectomy. It was a big, big deal. And she's one of those people that came out publicly and talked about having to have a breast removed, what she did to work around it, how to keep her dignity, how the treatment worked, and that kind of thing had never been talked about. And she did all that. And of course, also substance abuse. She fought with drinking. And she helped to design what we call modern day facilities that allow people to go in and get treatment and come out. Before that, you'd go to the hospital. You wouldn't really go to a treatment center. And she was one of the people that helped spearhead the design of these new treatment centers where you get away from home, you get away from the family, you get away from the friends.
It's named after her, the Betty Ford.
That's right, the Betty Ford Clinic. And they would take care of you and focus on you to get you right so you could go back to the community. So really a huge impact.
She did, and she waited to make that announcement till after he got out of the presidency.
Yeah.
That's right after that is when she told the family she needed to go for treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And from there evolved the Betty Ford Clinic. And another person who died, I wasn't able to visit with the family. I was busy that particular morning when I could have gone, and that was Monday. As you might recall, I had an early meeting that afternoon, but we had to leave early in the morning. The Louisiana Horsemen's Protective and Benevolent Association, HBPA board. And I'm talking about Joseph Wilbert. Well, everybody knew him as Beb Spira. He was 81 years old, and he was a native of our area, very closely connected to the Washington area, and he worked with the Clyde Doucette Insurance Agency for years and years. And when Clyde Doucette decided to retire, Beb bought the business from Clyde, and he continued on until he finally retired. And he had been living over with his children over in Del Rio, Tennessee. So to the Spira family and friends and former customers, and I was one that he took care of insurance when I first bought a car in 1957. Clyde and Beb insured the vehicle. And then, of course, in 59, I went into business for myself. But we always kept a good, close relationship. We exchanged customers when one could help the other customer. We always did that and had a close relationship. And then I've got a little story to tell on the next person who died, and I'm talking about Miss Beatrice. But again, she's one that went by Miss B, Booty. And I was close, of course, to Miss Booty and Mr. Booty, but he was always the quiet guy, her husband. But also Gene Booty, her son, and I were just about the same age, and we had welding classes together. And Charles Doucette, better known as Choo Doucette, was our welding instructor. And Gene and I would get there in the afternoon, and he'd pull us off aside, and he says, Cornelius doesn't have something, maybe y'all could run an errand for him or something? I said, what you mean? Well, y'all not really trying to learn too much of welding. Y'all go ahead and you'll get a good grade. Don't worry, I'm not going to fail y'all. And sure enough, we'd go run an errand or do something for him, whatever. But Ms. Booty, of course, had a rude awakening one day when she got home. I had peroxided my hair and come out red blonde, you know. And well, then a bunch of them did it. I said, well, I want to do something a little different. So went downtown, I guess to Lyle's 5 and Dime, and bought a bottle of black hair dye. And we proceeded over to Gene's house and went into the bathroom.
You didn't try it at your mama's house?
No, and I wish I had for a long time, but she got over it. But Gene had found an old toothbrush that was, and I had a crew cut then, and it was up there, and he just leaned over in the lavatory, and he brushed it. I can still feel him brushing it, and of course it was splattering all over the wall. And we went to try to wipe that off. Well, all we did was smeared it. and we didn't know what to do, so we didn't do nothing. We left. And it didn't take her long when she got home to find out that a couple of culprits had been to her house and really made a mess. But she was a wonderful person, and they kind of fussed back in those days, but it's not like today. Today, the parents might call the juvenile detective to come and kind of get on the case. She just kind of lashed out a few words at us, and we wouldn't have done that similar kind of thing again. So had some wonderful moments, and I was able to visit with Barbara and Joe Hidalgo. You know, Joe that's very used to come with us on the retreat. But
correct.
The conflict with the Cattlemen's Association prevented that, but he still goes, but he goes with the August group.
Right. That was his
and then, of
mother-in-law.
course, that's right. And then Jean passed away a few years ago, and the daughter-in-law, of course, is Bessie Booty, and she lives out in the subdivision I developed. And I got to see her from a distance, and I want to apologize, Bessie. I saw you sitting there, and I couldn't stay very long because I was needing to catch a ride in Lafayette to go to my meeting. So again, to a dear little lady, she drove that car until very recently, that little black car. I think everybody knew it was Miss B, and they'd clear the road, give us some room to drive that little car. What a sweetheart.
And you said you saw Betty and Nutsie there?
That's right, Betty and Nutsie Quirk were there also, and then Mrs. Patton. And I asked her, you know, I'm going to write that book. You got to have a lot of
correct. A lot of material.
I said, ma'am, you don't seem to be part of this family. I've never seen you before, and we were a small town back in those days. She said, no. She says, I'm Miss Patton. I'm from the Lafayette area. My husband and I are in a square dancing group over in Lafayette, and Joe and Barbara are part of that.
Very good.
So good morning to you. Hopefully she got on her computer. Well, she might be on Cox Cable. I think she has Cox Cable Channel 9.
KSLO, see on the other side of 3.
And that's how we make the program. We just ask a lot of questions, and
that is how it goes.
That's how it goes. And hopefully those of you who are new to the program, and I handed 3 cards out. You'd swear I was trying to sell insurance there. 3 cards while I was inside the funeral home itself. They wanted to know how to get to the program, how to find it. So I gave it to them.
We got the Epiphany Episcopal Church. Don't forget, Sunday, July 31st at 10 a.m. Service. This is going to be their 150th anniversary. Founded in 1861, and then this Friday over at the Tourist Center over on I'm not sure what's the formal word that they want to call the new one, the St. Larry Parish Visitor Information Center at Exit 23. You know, northern part of the parish. Miss Anya Burgess will be demonstrating fiddle making, and she builds, repairs, and rents violins, and does everything from Cajun fiddling to classical violin type work. She's originally from Massachusetts. So if you want to go up there from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday, go and get a nice tour of how the thing works. Mr. Herman Fusilier's up there. You can give him a call at 877-948-8004.
I noticed where my friend, and of course you got to meet Lawrence Svensson. I can't ever pronounce it, but Mr. Lawrence knows
it's not easy.
that I have a little problem with that. But
it's not Cajun.
Not a problem of remembering the Lawrence, and he gave me some good advice on some tax matters, and it's a good way to donate.
And charity matters.
And charity matters, right. So thank you for that. But he has been named as serve as the chairman for LAGO, and that's the large oil industry convention that takes place October the 25th to the 27th this year at the Cajun Dome and adjacent convention center.
One of the biggest in the country.
Yep, one of the biggest in the country, and he's been named as chairman. So that's quite an honor because he's the operations manager for Marlin Energy and has been involved with LAGO since 1999. So again, to Mr. Lawrence, congratulations to Mr. Arsenault and to Mr. Maley. That's the 3 top guys that's going to head up this unit this year. Congratulations to all of you.
Friday night, Chubby Carrier and Bayou Swamp will be playing at Mojo Sports Bar. Admission is $10.